All right, so you're thinking about a new printer, huh? For your business, I mean. It's a big decision.
It really is. Especially these days, there are so many options.
Exactly. Speed, quality, size, that's what usually comes to mind first, right? But there's something else that's just as critical, something that often gets overlooked.
You're talking about the DFE, right? The digital front end, the brains of the whole operation.
That's it. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Really going to unpack that for everyone.
Our mission for this deep dive, it's to show you why choosing the right DFE is absolutely crucial for your print business.
Not just an afterthought, it can really make or break your success with a new printer.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, first things first, choosing the right DFE is every bit as important as choosing the right print engine.
Oh yeah, 100%. In fact, I'd argue it might even be more important. I mean, think about it.
Go on.
Well, you could have the fastest, most cutting-edge printer out there, but if your DFE isn't up to par, it's like having a Ferrari stuck in traffic.
Great analogy.
You're not going to see those top speeds.
And it's about more than just getting those files prepped for printing, isn't it? The DFE impacts everything from the final quality of your prints to how efficiently your entire print shop operates.
And it's not just speed either. A powerful DFE can also open up a whole world of possibilities for you.
In what way?
Like in terms of the types of printing you can offer, more complex jobs, higher quality, things you might not have even considered before.
So it's about looking beyond just the initial cost of the DFE. Our sources really emphasize taking that broader, holistic view of your workflow.
Right from when the job comes in to when it goes out the door.
And then calculating the total cost, factoring in potential savings and enhancements the DFE can bring.
Because a modern DFE can do so much more than just process files.
Leveraging those advanced features can seriously ramp up your production speed, improve the overall quality of your prints, and in some cases, even replace the need for separate software solutions.
So yeah, it can end up saving you money in the long run. And you mentioned workflow before, and there's this concept they talk about called lights out automation.
Yeah, lights out automation. What exactly does that look like in the real world of print production?
Imagine an order comes in. The DFE handles everything. File prep, color management, even stuff like finishing instructions, shipping labels, and invoicing. All automated.
Wow, so basically minimal human intervention needed.
Exactly. That's lights out automation in a nutshell. Fewer errors, faster turnaround times, lower labor costs.
Sounds like a dream for any print shop owner.
It's getting closer and closer to reality with the right setup. Now, another area where the DFE brings in a lot of value is in pre-press and make-ready.
How so?
While some shops prefer their press operators to focus primarily on the physical side of printing, calibration, color, media management, keeping those presses humming.
Right, makes sense.
In that scenario, a DFE that can handle all the file manipulation centrally, even managing multiple presses from a single interface, that's really powerful.
Because it lets your press operators really focus on what they do best.
Exactly. Maximize the uptime of your most valuable equipment.
Now, I think it's worth pointing out here that not all print shops operate the same way. Some might prefer to handle at least some of those pre-press tasks, either in a dedicated pre-press department or even at the DFE itself.
Right, and a good DFE will give you that option. That flexibility is key.
It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Yeah. Absolutely not. You got to find a DFE that fits your specific workflow and needs. And speaking of needs, let's talk about variable data. Huge for any print business dealing with personalized print products these days.
It really is. How do modern DFEs tackle that challenge?
So here's the thing. Modern DFEs are really good at handling template-based variable data jobs, way more efficient than older systems.
Okay, break that down for us.
They can take a base design and then basically merge it with a database to create all those customized pieces. Really smooth process. The alternative, trying to process a ton of individual print-ready PDFs, one for each record, that can really slow things down.
Especially with complex designs or really big data sets.
Exactly. And that's where you see a massive performance difference between DFEs.
Right. I think one of the sources mentioned a fiery DFE being like 30 times faster in some cases.
Yeah, those fiery DFEs are known for their speed when it comes to variable data. That kind of speed can be a game changer if you're trying to meet tight deadlines on big personalized campaigns.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Many printing businesses work with presses from different manufacturers, what we call multi-vendor environments.
Always adds a layer of complexity.
How does choosing a DFE play into that?
It's a tricky one. Using different DFEs for each press can create a real headache in terms of managing your workflow. Different interfaces, different training for your operators. It gets messy.
But I imagine there's some potential upsides to having separate DFEs too, right?
Yeah, one advantage our sources mention is troubleshooting. If one DFE goes down, it won't necessarily affect the others, so that's something to consider. But if we're talking overall productivity and a truly streamlined workflow,
What's the ideal scenario then?
ideally using the same type of DFE across all your digital presses, if that's technically possible, that's where you unlock the real efficiency gains.
Easier job management, load balancing, the ability to run the same job on multiple presses simultaneously if you need to.
Plus, you only need to train your team on one DFE system. Saves time and reduces the risk of errors.
So there's a strong case for consistency in a multi-press environment.
Definitely. All right, so let's say you're a printing business owner and you're ready to choose a DFE. What are the absolute must-have things you should be evaluating?
What are those deal breakers?
Well, first and foremost, performance. You got to look at how the DFE handles those big, complex jobs, the ones that really push it to the limit.
The graphics-heavy files that can bring a system to its knees?
Exactly. But it's not just about the big jobs. Think about those high-volume, quick turnaround orders you get every day, too. A DFE that can't keep up with that steady stream of work will create bottlenecks and slow down your whole operation.
And the advice is clear. Don't just rely on the manufacturer's specs. Put those DFEs to the test yourself.
Absolutely. Test them with your own complex files. See how long it takes to process, how long jobs sit in the queue waiting to print. Look at things like hold times.
One of the documents actually gave an example comparing a fiery DFE to some others, both with a variable data PDF and a large color PDF.
Right, and the difference in performance was pretty eye-opening. So yeah, real-world testing is crucial. Now, another big one that comes up again and again is workflow automation and end-to-end integration.
It seems like you can't talk about DFEs without talking about workflow.
True. So for you, as a printing business owner, you got to really analyze your current job mix. What types of jobs are you doing most? How complex are they? What are your typical run lengths and turnaround times?
Get granular with that data.
Once you have a clear picture of that, take a hard look at your current production setup. Where are those manual steps? Where are the potential for errors?
Identify those bottlenecks and pain points.
And that's where DFE workflow automation tools can really shine, eliminating those manual touch points and saving you money.
Now, the resources actually list some specific features to look for in terms of automation and integration, don't they?
Yeah, things like hot folders and virtual printers to streamline job submission, job presets and imposition templates to standardize recurring jobs and speed up setup, automation of pre-press tasks, seamless integration with any web-to-print portals you might be using.
So if you're taking online orders, that integration is crucial.
Absolutely. And then, perhaps most importantly, how well the DFE integrates with your existing business systems, like your MIS, your management information system. That can be huge.
Especially for eliminating double data entry and those manual errors.
Exactly. Now, if you're overhauling your whole system, going for a DFE and workflow solution that already has that tight integration with a modern MIS, that's a smart move. But even if you're sticking with your existing systems, make sure that DFE vendor can provide robust integration capabilities. Look for things like JDF support or open APIs. You need that smooth communication between all your systems.
So yeah, integration is key. We talked about variable data before, but the resources specifically call it out as a key consideration during DFE selection.
And for good reason. Personalized printing is only getting bigger. Make sure the DFE you choose has strong support for all those variable data formats, PDF-ET, PPML, VPS.
Don't just assume it can handle it. Do your research.
Right, and actually test those large, complex, variable data jobs on the DFEs you're considering. See how they perform under pressure. Don't forget about color quality either. It's a major factor for print buyers these days.
Especially as expectations keep rising.
Exactly. So ask yourself, is the color management software fully integrated into the DFE? Is it a certified system? Like G7 compliant.
Look for those industry certifications.
Things like FOGRA and Ideal Lines digital press certifications. They're good indicators of color capabilities. And here's one that often gets overlooked, the skill level of your employees and the importance of training.
It's easy to forget about the human element.
But it's critical. You can have the most powerful DFE in the world, but if your team doesn't know how to use it effectively, you're not going to get the full return on your investment.
Makes sense.
So investigate what training and certification programs the DFE vendor offers. A well-trained team is a more efficient team.
And that ultimately ties into the big picture. total cost of ownership.
Right. It's about more than just the sticker price of the DFE. You got to factor in all those other things we've talked about. Processing power, automation, the ability to manage multiple presses, the efficiency gains from having a well-trained team.
Calculate that return on investment based on the improvements you expect to see in productivity, turnaround time, the ability to offer higher quality, differentiated products.
Exactly. Now, the sources also highlighted some common pitfalls to avoid when making your DFE decision.
What are some of those traps that businesses fall into?
First one, don't make your choice solely based on price. Get input from your production team. They're the ones who will be using it day in and day out.
Don't just go for the cheapest option.
Right. Second mistake, only focusing on your current job mix. Think about where your business is going, what types of jobs you might be doing in the future.
Plan for growth.
And perhaps the biggest mistake, automatically accepting the DFE that's bundled with the press you're buying. Always explore all the available options.
Do your due diligence.
Shop around. Okay, so let's say you've made your decision, you've chosen your DFE. What happens next?
What are those crucial next steps?
Training, training, training. Make sure at least one key member of your team gets fully trained, ideally certified on that new DFE and all the related software.
Become an expert.
That's the goal. You want to squeeze every ounce of value out of your investment.
And there are actual certifications you can get, right?
Yeah, some vendors offer them, like the Fiery Professional and Expert certifications. These certifications can really make a difference in terms of quality and productivity. Plus, they're great for professional development.
So, to sum it all up, if you're investing in a new printer, the DFE is not something to skimp on or treat as an afterthought. It's a strategic asset that can make or break your success.
Couldn't agree more. Spend the time, do your research, and make sure you're choosing a DFE that will help your business thrive.
Because a powerful DFE paired with an efficient workflow can unlock incredible possibilities. New services, new revenue streams, the ability to not just keep up with the industry, but to lead the way.
And that's what it's all about.
So we encourage you to dig deeper, explore those possibilities, and make sure the brain of your print operation is as sharp as it can be. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.